Well, hello. Looks like we've already got a couple of you guys in viewing right now, but this is the stream to launch Less Than One. Some of you have heard this already if you've kind of received or been sent this, but officially the release date for this album is tomorrow, or I guess midnight tonight. I suppose usually these release in an hour for my time, releasing at midnight on Eastern time. But given that this is not releasing to streaming, I can release it whenever I want. Um, so this might have a lot of or a chunk of live viewers, or it might just be me talking to this camera. But if you tune in, then awesome. And if I know you, which it looks like a few of you in the chat, I do know. Thank you. And you could have gotten this in person, but you're here to support. So thanks you guys for popping onto this chat and being here to listen to the album for the first time tonight. So that's it's pretty freaking cool. Anyway, I guess a little bit of story behind this before we get started. If you don't already know what the deal is with this album is titled Less Than One. Album might be a strong word. I would probably call it an EP track list wise, as far as the number of songs that are on this. It would qualify as an album in terms of time and length. I would say it's an EP. There are four full length tracks and then some kind of transitions that walk you through the whole thing. But this whole album came from this idea to see if I could make a full length project with under $1,000 worth of equipment. And the reason for that is, if we're being honest, it's partially out of spite. After I released my first album, Letters to God Man and Myself, which had a lot of awesome people who helped out with, I kept getting folks who were saying to me stuff like, "Oh, well, I would do that myself if I just had like 15 grand to spend on a studio." And I was like, "Guys, do I look like I have 15 grand to spend on a studio? I drive a 1999 Honda CRV that I bought for $1,500. I guarantee you that I don't have 15 grand to spend on studio time." Um, but it was something that we kind of all just were able to pull together and find the resources and use gear that I already had. But after hearing that a number of times, I was like, you know what? I want to just prove that it's so incredibly possible to do something like this, that I'm going to set these like wild limitations for myself. So every track on this was made using under $1,000, to be clear, of music equipment. The only thing that I did not count for this project was my computer. So I did use a laptop, which does cost more than $1,000. And truthfully, there was no way that I could do this without doing that. So if that's your pitfall, I'm really sorry, and I hope that you can figure out a way to make it happen. But I'm really stoked about the way that this album has turned out. Honestly, it's exceeded my expectations for quality, which I don't think I'm supposed to come out and say as someone who's marketing this to you right now. But it really just pushed me creatively to try to use instruments in different ways to kind of create songs in ways that I hadn't created songs before, and to kind of like steward some creative muscles that otherwise wouldn't have to be steward. I think a lot of times there are places where we might gravitate towards specific pieces of gear or equipment in order to solve musical problems. And when you don't have that opportunity, it forces you to try something new, which has allowed me to learn a lot of new ways to record, produce, and create music that I'm really excited to continue to try out, especially as using more equipment than I might have used on a project like this. But I'm not going to talk too much because you're really here to listen to the album. So here is the deal. We are going to listen to this album start to finish. I'm going to do some pauses at probably inconvenient places because these transitions that are in this do go straight through, so you can listen to this whole album as though it's one track, and that's not great if we're going to talk about some of the stuff for how we made the track. Also, I've got a comment and chat section open right here, so if you have any questions about the songs, however stupid they are, and you are tuned in right now to watch, I would love to hear your questions and to answer them the best that I can. You can also now stream this whole album on raggedoak.com at the end of this stream. So once this is over, while you can't download it without doing any of the various purchase options, you can stream the whole thing on the website. If you didn't know, this album is coming only attached to some physical media forms, which is pretty cool. One of which are these gorgeous prints of the album cover that were done by a local artist where I live in Durango named Matt Clark. They're all numbered and signed by both of us. So you get the artist of the art and of the music. And those all come with download codes. There's also flash drives. There's cassettes. There are vinyl records, which are really, really freaking cool. And there's these prints. Yeah. And there's also another option, which is if you want, you can donate the same cost of any of those things to a charity. There's a link to do that on raggedoak.com, and I will supplement the cost. So there's just kind of a way to do some good. Also, man, whoever you are that watches this, if you're like, I really want this album downloaded on my phone and I don't have $4, I get it. Just email me, email management@raggedoak.com, and beg and ask nicely, and I would love to send you a download. So, anyway, here we go. This is Less Than One. It is now my second album. The first song is a song called Synesthesis, but as far as actual track list, the first song is called Heard, but it's 9 seconds. It's a 9-second intro into Synesthesis, so I'm not going to split up those songs. You don't need to hear about this little voice memo that I made before you listen to song 1. So, not going to hold off any longer. This is track 1 off of Less Than One.
No,
Sorry about that.
I think maybe I don't know how to explain. It would look something like this.
Final scratch, end of the melody. White mist creeps over mountain's edge. Steady now, sings the wind. Lost in what direction should it go? Far from the window, scorched by the sun. Steady now, she proves the leaves. 3 decide in what direction should it go. Not all who wander have a choice. Game trails slow fade. Water should Host of every reflection, all of them yours.
All right, well, that is track 1, which is called Synesthesis. I guess technically track two if you count the intro, but that's the first full song on this album. It's called Synesthesis. I definitely went back and forth with whether or not I liked that song title for it, but the whole idea was I've always been kind of fascinated with synesthesia, with people who can they can like see color, or we can all see color. They can see sound, or they can hear color, or they can taste sounds, these things like that. And I was trying to kind of come up with something challenging to write a song about, and was like, what would a song look like if it was about a person who was going through the process of like having synesthesia? Like they're a person who doesn't have it before, and then almost like you get like a cold, this thing starts happening to them. So the whole idea of calling it synesthesis was that it was a process that you're going through, not something that you're just gaining, that you just have. But that song is actually the last song that I started working on for this EP, and it's crazy. It's kind of stupid. There's so much stuff that's going on in it. All of these songs are gonna have this guitar right here, this acoustic on my wall, was used for all of the guitar parts that are on it. And so this one kind of starts out and is founded upon the use of this acoustic guitar to kind of put this almost like ambient rhythm section in the background. And then I just wanted it to turn into absolute filth and craziness, which was kind of where that drum beat comes from. So this is just sample drums made in Logic. It's a stock drum plugin, and then I put a bit crusher on it and just cranked the crap out of it. So just really tried to make this drum beat as filthy as possible. There's some really cool like slight changes to the way that it loops in this song, which is something that I really loved. But one of the things that actually made me really excited that I did in kind of the later stages of working with this drum part was these like sub boosted kicks that came in pots that the hi-hat had been before, which I just thought it was fun. It's cool to like throw it off in a couple of places to do something that is slightly different, and might be surprising. And there was a lot of room in this song to be surprising and to try to go into a place that I normally wouldn't go musically. And definitely, like, the first demo, I was just like, what the hell am I doing? This is so weird. It's so out there, but it's so fun. It was really just quite a blast to create this track. And especially, even going into some other depths of like the vocals on this are different from stuff I'd usually do. I did a lot of freezing reverbs, stereo, like doubled vocals where like the vocal in the left ear is singing something different than the vocal in the right at the end, changing the vocal chain in order to affect the dynamics of the song. There's some pretty heavy hitting bass drops in this, which is not something that I often do, and those were really, really fun. There's some like sound candy that I spent a lot of time working with. I definitely wanted you to be able to what's up, Andy? Thanks for roasting the last drummer. Totally throws me off. There was definitely some sound candy in this song that was really fun to make. Just to kind of like respond to what it does lyrically. And then I paused it just now at kind of a weird spot, which leads into the next track, which is titled BMO. And in truth, it is an abbreviation of the next song after it, which is called Break Me Out. But I did that as a temporary name and was going to rename it something smarter. And then just was like, you know what, I like Adventure Time, and BMO's pretty cool, so we're gonna keep it called BMO. And so this is a perfect transition from Synesthesis into BMO. So you're gonna kind of hear actually the tail of this scream as we go into this transition track, and then this one also is gonna take us right into the next one, Break Me Out. So I'm gonna try to pause it at just the right time. But this is technically track 3 now, titled BMO. All right, so that is the first transition, or the third song on this album. It's called BMO. It goes right out of the first song, Synesthesis, and that one it kind of like came towards the end, where I even decided that I wanted to do these transitions moving out of it, and I thought it was really fun. But one of the challenges that I gave myself with this one was that I really wanted it to be completely seamless. I wanted to be able to export this whole song as one track, and you wouldn't even be able to tell. There was no clips. There was nothing where it stopped abruptly. And so kind of coming out of the end of Synesthesis, I had this question of how to do that. And I was like, it would be really cool. And I've kind of played with this idea before, especially with this like long sort of glitched out scream that's at the end of that song to kind of keep it going. So what I ended up doing was I froze the reverb on the scream at the end of Synesthesis. I then ran it into like a stock, I think it's called Step Effects on Logic Pro. It's just a stock effect. It is called Step Effects. I'm getting that right. Which, if you've never played with and you're a Logic user, it's super fun. It kind of lets you take different audio and samples and rhythmically glitch it out. And there's so much freedom in how to use it, which can let you make some really cool sounds and kind of like rhythm sections with things that wouldn't normally be a rhythm section. So that's what I did with this one. Is I froze that scream, I glitched it out. So you're hearing that as kind of like the foundation of this whole little transition track. And then just layered these really pretty keys over it. The thing that I'm proud of that's stupid, it's a stupid thing to be proud of with this song, is that I had to switch from major to minor of the same key. What? I know. And I think I did it without anyone being able to notice it. I could barely notice when it happened. So that's something that was fun. Another fun little, more like theory-based challenge was to do it without doing anything aggressive and staying kind of in this fun little space with it. I also really love the way that those drums sounded. That's some samples again, but run into some different like delay and reverb chains that I threw together. And then the other thing was I really wanted to both take this aspect of the first song of Synesthesis, this scream that's glitched out the whole time, and also introduce the next song. So towards about 3/4 way through, you hear the vocal of Break Me Out, which you will know very clearly in the next like 30 seconds. But you very much can hear this vocal, and that vocal is also glitching to the same rhythm, which was just like it. I don't know. It was fun. It came together in a cool way. I think some of me kind of goes back to the almost like leitmotif idea of introducing themes and pulling themes out, and it was fun to get to play with that type of storytelling here. But next up is a song called Break Me Out. Break Me Out is the second song that I wrote in this project, and ends up taking the second slot as the full-length songs go. So yeah, I'll shut up now, and this is Break Me Out.
Break me out. Oh, won't you break me out? I think my imagination's expired. An empty riverbed is running dry. Oh, I'm running on empty, so I'll shift into neutral for a while. Let the slow death of the desert take its time. silence takes its time. Every motion comes in waves. The breath of this ocean blew out the flame, and I'm lost. The windows in the way. My pen is a widow. Oh God, how I miss my mind. I'm out of reach. Habits took you away from me. I'll throw paint on the canvas of me. Won't you break me up? Break me up!
So that is Break Me Out. That is track 4. It's the second full-length song that's on this. Honestly, Break Me Out is one that I kind of hated after I did the first demo of it. But it grew on me. The real challenge with that one was kind of wanting to have this really big vocal part. Sorry, this microphone is falling. And figuring out how to do that really well. Another part of the challenge for this was that I'm using just like stock pitch correction. So you got to be really solid on your vocal takes on these to make sure that they all pair well and you don't get any weird harmonies. One of the funny things that happened specifically in this one's recording is that in the very beginning, when there's that really big chorus of just Break Me Out, I did a bunch of like normal harmonies, my normal voice, and then I did like some weird voices, which is kind of how you can fill out a fake choir. You kind of do some fake voices to make it sound like there's a bunch of other people there. And one of the voices that I did was a pretty rock solid Kermit the Frog impression singing it. Unfortunately, I did all my weird voices after I had done the normal ones, and the gain level was different. So when I went back and listened back, I don't know why I said unfortunately. I'd say fortunately because it was awesome. When I went back and listened, it was like Kermit was the lead vocalist and all of me was the backing. All right, Andy's asking for Kermit voice. I'll try it. What should I say? What do you want me to say as my Kermit? Let me know. I'll do it if you tell me what you want me to say. Because I gotta wait too for the 4-second delay to catch up. While I'm waiting on what to say in my Kermit voice, also to address the question on here of would I ever do an acoustic version of this album? Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be cool. It'd be really hard. One of the things that is like really interesting about doing a project like this is that it's so studio focused, because you're kind of incapable of playing a lot of these live with just the instruments at my disposal. So doing like an acoustic version kind of requires that type of translation. So yeah, it would be an interesting challenge, just as right now kill the whole song and then sing over the song as Kermit. I would do an all Kermit version. That would be a good joke. I'm sure that would get me some views. But yeah, I'm trying to even figure out how to play some of these songs live, because I don't know how I'm going to do it because it was so studio heavy. Yeah. I don't know if I can. What would I be in the Kermit? I can tell you that the name of the next song is Breathe. It's Breathe, and it is 51 seconds. I hope that somewhat satisfies you for right now. Yeah, this next song is called Breathe. It is 51 seconds. It's another transition. The whole idea with this one was that it would kind of feel like a panic attack. So I tried to make a musical panic attack with this track. It's using just all sample instruments because kind of what the next song is about. Yeah, Break Me Out's got a lot going on. It's a fun one. There's some kind of crazy stuff happening into it. Yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. But also, you can check out the whole video of making Break Me Out on the channel that you're watching this on right now. And that one probably had the least, like, hardcore changes from its demo phase, which is what's posted up there right now, because I just did a bunch of retakes. So I just did a better take of everything that I recorded, but I had a pretty I was pretty satisfied with the arrangement of the song. Anyway, this is the next track. It's a transition. It is called Breathe. All right, not too much to say about that one. Like I said before, this whole idea behind that song is to kind of try to simulate a panic attack. Like you're in this space of what Break Me Out's about, which is wanting to kind of get out of a state of writer's block, and then boom, now you've got imposter syndrome and just the terror of being alive, which may have been what I was feeling when I wrote the next song. I'm not going to talk too much before we go into it. So the next song is called I Think That I'm Dying, and let's just hear it. I think this is honestly one of the best songs on the CP. I Think That I'm Dying might be one of the best songs I've ever written. And I wrote it in 15 minutes, but I think it's a great song. And usually I kind of hate my songs. So here is I Think That I'm Dying.
I think that I'm dying, 'cause my words bit off my tongue. I think that I'm dying, 'cause I can't sing another song. And I think that I'm trying so hard to make this all mean something. I know that I'm drinking too much, 'cause I can't stop thinking that I'm dying. I fear that you're fading, 'cause I can't feel you anymore. In all my despair, the noise has crippled all my silence. I'm tired of trying to make this all make sense, and there's a dam up inside me, and the water's turned to mud. And I think that I'm dying to know if I can't feel you anymore. I think that I'm dying to know if the fear was in control. Am I a slave to this systematic stall? I think that I'm dying to break from the hand that holds the rope. And now my planned obsolescence has arrived. Cut off my tongue and gouge out my eyes. If I can't find the light in this storm, then I don't need them anymore. 'Cause I know that I'm dying. We've all been here before. I know that I'm dying. Hallelujah, by and by. I know I'm still trying to sing my broken song. I know we're all dying to make this something more.
So that is track 6. I think that I'm dying. Very different from the last two songs that we listened to. That one, there's a few cool things about it. In very different ways is it cool from these other songs. I also recognize this album is all over the place. Just like to go from a track like Synesthesis with these like crazy distorted drums to an acoustic song like that. It's pretty different. But if you are curious about it at all, one of the special things about I Think That I'm Dying is that like I said, kind of going into this, I wrote it in 15 minutes. This was a song that I can be a bit of a hypochondriac, and just was having some issues, some physical issues, and was trying to go to the gym. I had put on my gym clothes, and I was on the way there, and then I saw my guitar, and I sat down. I wrote this little progression, and wrote this song about how I was feeling at that moment. And just kind of like process those feelings out. And I think that the rawness of it translated really well. I made a couple of changes to it, but occasionally you get to have these little lightning bolt moments where a song like this just kind of hits you. And I really wanted to preserve that in the recording. So I kind of continued the challenge. And one of the things that I did with this is that it's two tracks. There is no doubled guitar. There is no doubled vocal. It is a guitar recording and a vocal recording. Originally, I tried to do them simultaneously. The problem was the piece of equipment that I was using for this project, in keeping with that under $1,000 worth of gear, it just wasn't really working for me to get a good capture of my guitar and my vocal. If I was using my normal setup, I think I absolutely could have done it, but I wasn't. So we just pivoted to recording. I did a single take where I did record my guitar and vocal simultaneously, and then I dubbed the guitar and the vocal separately over it. What you were hearing on each of those, though, they're not even comped. It's just a straight take because I really wanted to preserve kind of the rawness of that song. A weird thing that I did do that I guess means I kind of just lied. I also wanted it to feel like you were sitting in the room with me. So I also did a 3-minute and 38-second recording of my studio, this room that I'm in right now, while the window was open. And that is also in this song. It's very low volume. You can kind of hear it at the beginning. There's like a bit of occasional like rustling wind and me kind of like getting into position to record. But I think that it adds to, kind of tricks our ears to believing that you're in a space with somebody who's telling this story. So I am really proud of this song. The next song is also a transition track. This song is called Flow and takes us out of this space of kind of a sadness and panic and this kind of processing into the next track. So and that puts us almost at the end. So I'm going to play that next one. It's 48 seconds. I don't know how much I'll have to say. I got to think and see if I remember anything cool that's part of it. But I Think That I'm Dying runs right into this next song, which is called Flow. All right, yeah, not a ton happens there. It's just this kind of like really, really mellow sample violin that is kind of going at the beginning there to get us ready. And then I once again introduce this motif, which you don't realize that I've introduced the motif right now because you haven't heard it yet. But yeah, that is just transferring us to the last full-length song on this album, which is called River 11, which, weirdly enough, the first song that I played is the last song that I wrote, and the last song that I'm playing is the first song that I wrote. So here we go. We'll talk about it after you hear it.
Like a runner after a race, knowing it first must relax before it can rest, patiently prepare for ease. There might be joy in this chill. Turquoise and green run together. Sacred premonitions lost in the thrill. Swept up in the brushstrokes. Does the child remain? Do we both run like the river? Or are we the same? Instruction on how to breathe. This chaotically gentle jazz feels like it was made for me. There might be joy in this chill. Turquoise and green run together. Sacred premonitions lost in the thrill. Swept up in the brushstrokes. Does the child remain? Do we both run like the river? Or are we the same?
All right, that is track 8, the last full-length song off of this, and it is called River 11. I love that one. I truly, when I did that first demo like almost a year ago, I hated it. I thought it sucked. And I would say it did. The first demo did suck, but one of the really cool things about this whole process and about kind of documenting the whole thing is everyone heard my first demo that sucked. And when I went back and changed this and got to show it to some people who really thought it was cool, it was kind of actually crazy how little I changed. It was like these little things that I did that really enhanced. Oh man, I keep burping, and improved the song. One of those things was the first part being I had this acoustic guitar that I was running through a bunch of distortion. I was kind of trying to make an acoustic guitar pretend that it was an electric guitar, and that was part of the problem. There's nothing wrong with putting distortion on an acoustic guitar, and I've actually done that on some of the tracks that are on this. But don't try to change the character of the instrument. It's still an acoustic guitar. So if you're going to use distortion, it should sound like an acoustic guitar distorted. Don't try to make it an electric. So I actually just I dropped all of that because I thought that gave me more space to occupy sonically with other things that would improve this song instead of fighting this insane overdone distortion on this track. So removing that was really cool. Not removing it wasn't cool. The things that I was able to add because I removed it were cool. The next thing was the vocals just needed some heightened accents, and at the time, and as I have been for the last 7 months, was listening to a bunch of Abby Holiday's new album, and she has this really, really cool thing that she does effects wise on her vocals. That's like she has this beautiful natural vocal, and then like layered in are these kind of chorused, very heavily pitch corrected vocals, kind of somewhere in that like almost Bon Iver sort of sound. So I wanted to do that, and made these little accent sections that were these like heavily pitch corrected vocals. They had a ton of reverb, but then the reverb didn't have a very long tail. So what you're hearing is it's just wrong. You wouldn't actually ever hear anything that sounds like that in the natural world, but it sounds really cool in this song. And then there was the like big instrumental chorus that's in the middle of this song, and that is one of the things that I am the most stoked about. It's actually the where I found out about that Logic plugin that I mentioned before, the step effects, was I was like, what if I made, instead of my original where I was playing this motif on a distorted acoustic guitar, what if I did it vocally? And then what if I glitched the crap out of it? And then what if I took that glitched vocal and then I stacked distortion on the vocal? And it sounds so cool. It's really, really sweet. And then I added some sub drops under it, and that also made it even better. For a while, I was also kind of fighting with, do I do that again at the end of the song? Do I do like a second instrumental chorus, or do I stick with this weird vocal thing that I did at the end? I did try a number of times to do this song with that kind of repeating slightly differently at the end. And every time I did it, I ended up scratching it. I thought that it took away from the potency of when it hits the first time. When it comes back, it's not as exciting. And I was kind of settled on the idea that I would rather listen to this song, I would rather want to listen to this song again, to hear that section again, than to get to the end of the song and you're hearing it and it just doesn't hit the same. It's got such an effect at the point that it happens, and so I decided to just keep it there, and kind of do this slow fade out, and also show off the idea that this motif, this melody that's played on the guitar, that's played on the sampled strings, and that is sung by the vocals in that chorus, that is the real focus. So there's kind of these different choruses at different levels. And part of that was also I wanted to simulate the feeling of a river musically with this song. This song is in 2 different time signatures. It's in both 4/4 and 5/8, which kind of gives this like ebb and flow like you might get with water. And then also to lean into this almost seasonal behavior of a river. If you've lived somewhere where your water flow is affected by the seasons. So like I live in Durango, Colorado, where that's a big part of our life is if we have a ton of snow and there's monsoon season, then the summers we have hugely high CFS. You know, the water is overflowing into the streets from the river that runs through town, and it's just insanity. Versus while in the winter or in the fall or the spring, when there's not really that like crazy snowmelt and rain coming down from the mountains, we have this very slow and tepid river. So I kind of wanted to sonically achieve the same thing. Lastly, this song is just full of cool little nuggets. I did a dumb challenge for this song, and I think it turned out well, which was all of the drums. Every percussion sound in this song is a sample that I did myself. There are no stock drums. There are no samples that I got from the internet or anything. These are made in a number of different ways. One of the coolest ones that really goes into the theme of this is that I wrote this song while sitting next to the Animas River in Durango, Colorado, when I was doing that, I took my phone out and I recorded the sound of that river running. When working on this song, I took that sound, put it into Logic's Quick Sampler, pitched it up, added some distortion and reverb into it, and then got hi-hats and cymbals out of that sample. So all of the hi-hats, splashes, and cymbals in this song are the samples that I took of this river. Then you have a couple of kicks. You have like a hard one and a soft one that are in this song. Both of those are recordings of me stomping my boot on a wood floor in my house. Lastly, there's some sort of weird percussion sounds during, I guess, the pre-choruses of this song, and those are made by me tapping my fingers on the body of my acoustic, and then pitch shifting and delaying those in a funky way. So every percussion sound in this song was a self-created sample, which I honestly did just to prove that I could do it. And what do you know? You can. So if you're in a place that you're like, oh, I can't make music because I don't have all of the best equipment in the world, dude, yeah, if you've got voice memos and a shoe, apparently you can make some decent percussion sounds. So yeah, experiment, have fun. It's pretty cool. It's really fun to have fun, and I'm really proud of the way that these samples have turned out. The last track on this, which is really just an outro, is called Steady Now, and I'll play it, and then I'll talk about it and this album a little bit more, and then we'll close this out. And it's official, like Less Than One is released. Actually, it's official in 2 minutes. So here we go.
Please watch your steps.
And that was Steady Now, which is the outro, the last track on this this short EP. If any of you can recognize where I recorded the sample that whole track runs over, let me know, and you win. I don't know what you win. I guess if you know what it is, let me know, and I will mail one of these prints with a download code to the album signed by me to you. But that is a sample that I recorded in a place, and if you can tell me, like I said, I will mail one of these to you. And I really wanted to use it at the end. I also wanted to use this title of Steady Now to kind of call back to Synesthesis, where I say Steady Now sings the wind, and I also say Steady Now she prunes the leaves. So there's a lot of Steady Nows in Synesthesis. But I had this sample, I really wanted to use it, and I really kind of wanted to make it something that was both relaxing but also saying that you're going into a new space. And I think that it really puts a good cap on this album. So yeah, that track is all sample instruments aside from the recording that I took, which was on my phone. And there are people in it talking, and I definitely had to wonder if it was okay, or if I was going to get in trouble, because you can just hear somebody else's conversation in it. But thankfully, after I layered 16 synthesizers over, you really can't tell. But yeah, that kind of just exits River 11 in this sort of ambient space. I did this like Blade Runner-esque synthesizer thing. A lot of them are downsampled in order to kind of sound almost like lo-fi, that like 1985 sort of sound. The 16-bit, or not the 8-bit thing. Wow, that really showed that I'm Gen Z, that I called it 16-bit as being downsampled. But yeah, to kind of give that classic retro sound, and then have this vocal that is slowly growing over the course of the song, almost as this call to go forward. So that is it. That is all of now the second Ragged Oak album, Less Than One. If you have enjoyed listening to this and you're like, yo, dude, why it not on Spotify? I will be doing a full-length video about that, but here is the relative lowdown. One, Spotify doesn't really pay artists. It's not just about me. I'm not really in this. I'm not doing this much for money. Money's great. It helps. But honestly, I've got a full-time job. It's what I got to do. I have found that Spotify and a lot of these streaming platforms are these giant voids of information. And while I might get some good listening right at the beginning when this stuff comes out, or from some loyal people over, like, who really like this stuff over time after it comes out, Spotify will just stop recommending you if you're not knocking out like 1 million streams in a month. They also, like I said, most independent musicians are making like $50 a year off of their streaming profits, and I don't like that. I don't like that for the people who aren't me. That sucks. The other thing is involved in the people who own shares of Spotify, and that, and the corporations who own shares of Spotify, and that I don't super want to be part of that. And then the less, I guess, morally charged side of things is that this is very different from the normal style of music that I make, and I don't want to kind of mess up how that image looks. And I think that this project has been such a weird form of artistic expression that staying weird with it is part of the fun. I also love the aspect of participating in music in more than just adding that song to some playlist that you have. It's not everybody's thing, but I mean, you can kind of see behind me. Oh man, dude, the mirroring throws me off. But like, I have a small vinyl collection that's over here, and I love the kind of ritual of getting to hold something in your hands and listen to it and sort of see this full big picture of artistic expression. And I wanted to continue to create that with this, which is part of why I'm releasing it on cassettes and vinyls and these like fun little flash drives, and then or you can just get these prints, and they're mailed with you. And I do a handwritten lyric sheet with every single one. They're all numbered and signed, which is also kind of a cool part of the process. You've got your, it's written out to you with your name, and you own the songs, so like you can use the tracks for whatever you want once you have it, which is something that you can't do with streaming. So it's just kind of, I think it's making it a more like wholehearted and fun process. And like I said, if you just want to listen to it, you can also go and check it out on raggedoak.com. Or I guess you can listen to this whole video where I talk for twice the length of the album. But yeah, that is the deal with Less Than One. If you have pre-ordered stuff from this album, just some quick updates for you. Cassettes are estimated to go out on the 19th. Sorry, the production on those took longer than I estimated, and they go out on the 19th. So I will let you know. You will receive an email as soon as that order is fulfilled. Vinyls go through a secondary manufacturer for me, so they will let you know. You'll get an email from them if you ordered one and it's going out. If you live in Durango, Colorado, or you're in the Four Corners region, Toast Records will be carrying the vinyl, and those should be there. They should have 3 of those within the next week, and they'll also have a chunk of the cassettes once production on those is finished. And if you pre-ordered prints like these, or if you pre-ordered the flash drives, those have been mailed, so they're on the way to you. You should have them soon. And everybody who's ordered any of those, you should be getting a download code sent to your email right now. So yeah, that is the deal with Less Than One. Also, there is a release show in the works with this. I should have a date out for that in the next week. And we are playing a concert tomorrow in Durango, Colorado at a place called the Tangled Horn. So if you're watching this and you live in the Four Corners, you should come and check us out. We will be playing one song from this EP tomorrow, and we will have these as well for sale at a $2 cheaper than they are on the website, because I don't have to pay for postage. Or you can also get these sweet shirts. Which, if you want shirts too, those will be listed on the Ragged Oak website soon. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to this stream, whether you tuned in live. Thank you guys, especially a chunk of you I know, and you are amazing, and I always just am so incredibly grateful for your support. And if you are tuning into this after the fact, please still pop in the comments, and I would love to hear what you think of this wild little album, and would love to, get you a print, or get you listening to these new tracks. Thank you so much. I'm Josh. I've been Ragged Oak, and there's going to be some more videos on this to come, but I hope that you will go and check out